How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Lucid. Ended up posting a green day, but you guys know from my expression, I told you this stock would see below $20, seeing a low of $19.80. A lot of the haters are out there, they're saying, Dre, you are crazy. This stock will never trade below 20. Lo and behold, that is what happened. That's why I always tell you guys to be patient, especially if you're looking at it as a long-term investment. Is now the right time to buy? Many are asking that question. Let's talk about it in this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Lucid. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $21.41, being up 5.36%. On the low, it tested $19.80, and then on the high, testing $21.45. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 17.785 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 19.689 million shares. So we did have below average volume on the day, but we did see some strength in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 40.40. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 100-day, the 200-day, the 50-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. And it's clear to see that Lucid is in a bear market, trading below all of our major moving averages, being on a strong downtrend. And if you guys remember, like I said in my previous videos, Lucid will get below $20. And that's exactly what we saw the day before. And we also did see that for today. But there has been some strong support there. Remember what I was saying? I wanted to see if we could hold up at least above $19.90. And we ended up seeing a low at $19.80. And having this strong pop all the way to $21.45 for the high of the day, if you want to see some continued strength, you want to see a reversal, Lucid needs to come back to the 21-day EMA, which is at $23.12. And then we need to have some buyers stepping in to see if we can make the move going to $25. And this is where you want Lucid to hold some support, consolidate, and see if we can get ready for the next move up. I myself personally, I am not seeing this for the coming week. I want to make sure I'm being very clear about that. But as far as for all of the uncertainty we have inside of the markets, there's a good chance that Lucid might end up being range bound. So what that means is it's going to be having resistance at $22 and it's going to be trading tightly between the high $19 range. That's what it's looking like. And it's also possible for Lucid to get down to the price levels of around $19.50. So let's go on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Lucid. As we scroll down further on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings for the 19th, all we see are mostly closed positions. But when we see for the 18th, we have Northcrest Asset Management LLC that purchased 29,145 shares. And then we also have Bay State Wealth Management LLC that purchased 200 shares, and we had some more closed positions on the 18th here as well. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 60.41%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 5.09 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 500,000, updated 25 minutes ago, and then for the short ball fee rate, it is at 3.17%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 14th, it was at 63.26, and then for the close of the 18th being at 60.41. So one thing that is clear, Lucid does have short squeeze potential, especially when we have the short interest percentage of the float being at 18.70%. So what does this stock need? More buying volume. So now let's go on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Lucid. So we see on the inflow, it is at 75.18, and then on the outflow, it's at 60.12 million. So we had an inflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown on the large, it was 11.15 million. On the medium, it was 42.66, and then on the small, it was 21.37. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 1.36 million. On the medium, it was 37.11 million, and then on the small, it was 21.65. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for April the 19th, we ended up having that big inflow of 9.79 million. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had a lot more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 1.10%. So again, this is a consistent range for Lucid. We know it hasn't been trading with the high volume that we are used to, but one thing that is clear, we see whales are loading up. So let's get into the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for Lucid, when it comes to the price action, if you want to see a bullish move to the upside, it needs to go back to at least $23. And if it's able to do this and we have some more bulls stepping in, then you want to see it hold up support right at $25. Will it be able to do that this week? I'm personally not seeing it. I could see it maybe consolidating, wanting to stay within the range of $19 and as well as right at $22. So if it's able to actually break through 22, then I might say, you know what, things could get interesting. But we also can't ignore the fact that we saw some strong buying coming through the EV and clean energy sector, and Lucid was able to benefit greatly from this. We also have Tesla that has earnings coming up as well. So I want to make sure if you are thinking about going into this play, maybe you were thinking about going for a short-term swing trade, that you are cognizant of that. So at least if it does decide to pull back, you'll be able to protect some profit. And then for all of my long-term investors out there, I know you're asking that question. So Dre, we ended up having a pullback under $20. Is now the time to buy into the stock? And personally, I don't think it's a good idea to buy as of yet. And the main reason behind that is there's still a lot of uncertainty inside of the markets. And this is something that we cannot ignore. We also did have Netflix that came out with earnings inside of the after hours and it ended up tanking. This is not bode well for the tech sector. It is one of the FANG stocks. So we want to keep a very close eye on other tech plays to see if they could put out some strong earnings. Like I said, Tesla has earnings that's coming out on Wednesday, so many are going to be watching this. If they end up coming out with some strong numbers, yes, we could possibly have a sell-off since they do end up having a run-up towards earnings, but we want to see that the outlook is actually looking good. If it doesn't look good, then a lot of stocks are going to be pulling back. Also keeping an eye on how Apple does, Microsoft, and so forth. This is very important because this will give us the direction of where the market could possibly go, because we know Lucid is in the NASDAQ 100 and it's going to move alongside with the market. So if the market ends up looking weak, of course Lucid is going to be looking weak. So as a long-term investor, I would continue to have some patience. But if you decide to buy at these current levels, I just want you to know, make sure that you are confident enough and you have the high conviction to load up when the stock pulls back. If you're going to complain about it or you're going to be sweating buckets, then I highly suggest that you don't buy in right now or you don't buy in at all. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership, we can see institutions have been loading up on shares. And then when we take a look at the short interest information, Lucid does continue to have short squeeze potential, but what it needs is more buying volume coming into the play. It was very clear when we saw the order flow distribution, institutions and whales have been loading up. So what I want to see from Lucid is more whales loading up on shares and then seeing what the reaction is on the retail side. We know as far as for the stock market as a whole, there hasn't been as much retail interest. Things are very bearish at the moment. And for many, that's when they see that as an opportunity to add to their position. So you need to ask yourself this question. Are you confident in long-term prospects? And should you be adding to your position? And can you do it confidently? It is not my job to tell you guys when to buy and sell sell a stock. Like I said, I can't give financial advice, but I want to make sure before you push that buy button, you have confidence with the position that you're holding. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.